So in the last session, we tested revenue recognition, balance forward billing, nothing but consolidated billing, how to review the customer account balances. Now, we'll pick the item called as how to load the customers. As a part of implementation, we have to load the customers from the legacy system to Oracle Fusion applications. So if you are clear about how we can load the data by using FBDA template, the same is applicable for customer related data. Data would be different, but the process remains same. And when we want to load the customer's data, we have options in terms of templates. Say you want to load the suppliers. You don't have multiple options. We need to download FBDA templates from Oracle OER, Oracle Enterprise Repository. We have to download from there. By using those templates, we can load the suppliers. When you talk about customers, we have different options. Go to OER. The OER, we have the section called as customer data model. We have customer data model. Here one template is available, but this template is very complex template. There will be n number of fields which are not required for reality. The template is available with kind of parties information and many other details. If you want to load the customer very simplified way, means with the basic information, you no need to use FBDA template, because the FBDA template what Oracle is providing, yes, it's a complex. Since this template is complex, they are giving alternative option. Go to receivables. Go to accounts receivable. Go to task list. Okay, I think it is under billing task. Go to billing task. Under customers, there is one task called as upload customers from spreadsheet. The spreadsheet term is hidden. Let's see. Upload customers from spreadsheet. So this template is very much simplified template. And here we have one template which is very complex template. So let's use this template to load the customers. When we use this template, the process also pretty simple. We no need to follow all the steps. We can just directly submit the file with one step. Let's look into this. Under billing task, if you go to task list under customers, we have a task called as upload customers from spreadsheet. Click on the task. And here we have two tabs. Download customer spreadsheet template, upload customers from spreadsheet. So from here itself, you can download the template and we can enter the customer's data and create the file, the same file with one step you can upload to the instance. Let's download the template. We are not opting for this complex template. We are going with a simple template which is available within the instance. This template is not available within the instance. We have to go to OER, Oracle Enterprise Repository. From there you can download, but here it is available within the instance. So download this template and open it. As required, just click on enable editing. Now within this template, the first sheet is instructions. There is a tab called as show extensible attributes, another tab hide extensible attributes. In any sheet, if you see the tab like show extensible attributes, always click on it so that hidden columns it will display. Now go to customers sheet. What you have in the gray color as a column, these all were hidden. Since we clicked on show, it is showing all these columns. Now we have a sample data within this template. Remove the sample data except one record. One record we can use for our reference purpose. Remove. Let's zoom in. Fine. Now source system. From which system we are bringing this data? From which system we are bringing this data? That system name you can provide, or else you can just keep any one of the source which is available as per the instance for our testing purpose. So from which system we are moving the data to Fusion, that source system name you have to provide here. When you practice, you can accept the same value. Customer number. When we create the customer within the instance through manual process, automatically system creates customer number. But here we have a flexibility to enter the number. Enter customer number and customer name. Say FBDI. Of course, it's not FBDI template, similar template. For identification purpose, let's give the name as FBDI ERP tree. So taxpayer registration number, say not required. When we create the customer, automatically system creates account number, but in this template, we have to enter any one of the account number. Account source reference. When you are bringing this data from other system, as per that system, there could be some account number if it is applicable. That number we have to enter as a reference number, but not required. It's optional. You may write the account description. The customer name you may take as account description, or else it is optional. But this account description is very important if you are going to create sales orders within the order management. Within the receivables, Even if you are not going to enter account description, it will not create an issue. You'll be able to use this customer to create the transactions. But if there is no account description for customer within the receivables, when we use the same customer within the order management, you cannot create the sales order if no account description is available for customer. But no issue you will face within the payables, even no account description. Ignore the account type. The account established date. We never entered account established date during the customer creation. The moment you create the customer, automatically system derives that date. So here, if you want to set, you can set, or else ignore it. If you look at the date format, year, month, and date, exactly we have to follow the same format, or else when we submit, the record will fail if format is not matching. If you want to update, yes, we can update. So year, month, and date. Year, month, and date. You just look at here, matching or not. Yes, year first, then month. Month, it's not matching, right? This should be the month. This should be the date. Now check. So year, month, and date. Now it is matching. If you want to enter by following the format, or else remove this data. System can create the date for the account. And customer class. Customer classification is not mandatory field. Ignore this. And customer profile class. Even we don't provide any customer profile class, system can derive the value called as default. So let's provide the value. So go to our customer. Okay, the profile class is here. You can copy and paste. Site number automatically system can create in case of manual process. If it is template based creation, we need to input. The site name, you can just provide the site name. And account address set, nothing but reference data set. To review the data, go to site. Here you can see directly. Better you can click on site number. And copy the reference data set to the template. And location source reference. The reference number, if applicable, from the source system, from which system you are just bringing this data, Accordingly, you have to provide. Even no reference number is available, it's a mandatory column. We need to enter some value. If applicable, this data client will provide. If not applicable, we can ask them to fill some dummy value. So address line 1. So FBDA address. Remove these values which we don't need for customer creation. And provide city state. You can accept this data, but make sure that same values are available within the instance. Else you can copy and paste any one of the address combination. State, postal code, county, done. Check other columns. We don't need this time zone code, remove. Identifying address, yes, keep as this. Site language not required, remove. And site purpose source reference, it's a mandatory field. You can just put some value. Now the site what we are creating, the site for what purpose? Build to, ship to, you can specify here. So if you want to specify build to and ship to the same site, here you have to enter the details. You have to enter the details. You can copy the same entire record. Here you change the site purpose source reference. Just keep the same site purpose reference, and you can give the value as a ship to also. You have to make one more record with the same data. The purpose would be different. That's all. Now we are just choosing build to, which is mandatory. Rest of fields, we don't want to provide any payment method. Check all the columns. Done. No additional sample data we have. Now customer contacts. Contact information is not mandatory. In fact, when we created a customer, we didn't enter any contact details. Reference accounts, nothing but when we assign customer site to BU, we provide few accounts, receivables, revenue. And we have seen system defaulted because of rapid implementation process. The same revenue, receivables, all the accounts. You may enter here, the same will reflect. So we don't need this data. And customer bank accounts, we'll see how to create the customer bank account later. We don't want to load through this template. So finally, we entered the data within customer sheet. The data what we entered, it is equal to how we create the customer through manual process. A very similar data we entered. Now create CSV file. So save this file into relevant folder. Save it. Say okay. So go back to the instance and go to task list and go to the same task, upload customers from spreadsheet. By using this tab, we'll download a template. Now we are going to upload the file. So click on upload customers from spreadsheet. Enter batch name. So we are going to choose the file, whatever we created as a CSV file. So click on choose file. And here we have a file called AR upload customers. So this is a file we created by using the template. Select this file. Submit. Now here is our batch. Status is process pending. And we can review other batches submitted by some other users. You can notice the status is warning. You can see number of records in that file, 1. How many records are successful, 0. Unsuccessful records are 1. In the other file, there are 75 records, successful 0. All records are unsuccessful. There is another file which was submitted, total 137 records. 137 records, status is success, and unsuccessful records are 0. So that's how you can review. If any record is not successful, from here itself you can see. If you want to see the reasons why the record is not successful, you can click on that unsuccessful records number. It will display the reason also. Now let's look into our batch. It takes some time. Okay, it takes some time. Doesn't matter you have one record or multiple records. It takes minimum around 5 minutes. So no option, we have to wait. I'll just pause the recording. Just refresh. So now the status is all the records loaded successfully, and the total records are 1 within this file, and successful records are 1, unsuccessful records 0. If you find any unsuccessful records here, you just click on that number. That could be 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. It will display the reasons why those records are not successful. Accordingly, you can take the action. If you find any unsuccessful records, based on that inputs, you have to update the data in that file, again create in the template, create the file and submit. Now we'll go and review the customer within the instance. It's a one-step process. In case of the actual FBDA template, we create the files, we populate, again we run an additional job. Here, not required. Download the template, enter the customer's data, generate the file, directly submit the file to upload. So as per this template, we given customer name as FBDI ERP tree. Go to manage customers. Check. So customer created, customer profile, customer account, site number, site record. So we entered the customer number and account number as well as site number. The same reference data set. So this is how we can load the customers by using the template. Now, the next item is loading open transactions. We call it as auto invoice. It means based on the template, we are loading the invoices automatically into receivables application. When we load the data into receivables, in fact, the data will come into receivables through interface called as auto invoice interface. The data will come to receivables through interface. Interface name is auto invoice interface. So that is the reason the name we use as a auto invoice. So reality system uses that auto invoice interface to import the invoices information to receivables from other applications. Say in order management, you have a sales orders. Based on the sales order, you want to create invoice in the receivables. Yes, system imports the sales order information into receivables through auto invoice interface. Even if you are loading the data through template, FBDA template, the data should be routed through that interface only. But reality, those are open transactions. You can call as open transactions. So if you want to load the open transactions into receivables by using FBDA template, we have to make sure certain setups are ready. So what prerequisite setups we have to complete to load the transactions into receivables by using FBDA template? The first point, we have to make sure auto accounting rules are configured for all account types. It's a mandatory. We have to complete that setup. Even certain accounts are not required, system will have a validation. When you load the data through FBDA template, which is open transactions data, system will have a validation. Even we don't need all the accounts, the validation process will check if all accounts are not configured through auto accounting rules, the process will fail. System will not allow us to import. So the first point is, say, configure auto accounting rules for all account types. All account types. Now, when we talk about payables related open invoices, there is a mapping available, the template. If you go to the template, what we use for payables, here is the template, payable standard invoice import template. When you go to this template, so there is a mapping available in this template between lines and header information with invoice ID. Now, invoice header record level, we have invoice ID, invoice line record level, we have invoice ID. Now here in the sample data, you can see these all records, these all lines are referring same invoice ID 100. That means these records, the 10 records what we selected belongs to same invoice. So this is invoice header. How many lines we have? 10 lines we have. So based on invoice ID, system can understand which line is belongs to which invoice. So we have a proper mapping. We can do the mapping between invoice header record and invoice line record. When we talk about open transaction, the receivables, we don't have such kind of mapping. That mapping we have to create by using DFF, descriptive flex field. By using DFF, we have to create the mapping. So in case of payables open invoices, the line what we create, that we can map with invoice header, because line level we have invoice ID, invoice level also we have invoice ID. In case of receivables open transactions, we don't have any mapping field similar to this. For that reason, we have to create the DFF, descriptive flex field, for mapping purpose. That just make a note as create line transaction DFF, descriptive flex field. Through this DFF, we can create the mapping. That means we can add one additional field which we can use for mapping, which is similar to invoice ID in the payables. In case of payables template, we have invoice ID. In case of receivables, we don't have any ID like transaction ID. That is the reason we are going to add one new field called as, maybe you can enter as a transaction ID. For that, we use line transaction descriptive flex field. So by default, Oracle is not providing, we are going to create. Now, when we import transactions data through this template, we cannot use the transaction source where the transaction source type is manual. If you are creating the transactions through manual process, yes, we can use the manual transaction source. Now we are going to import. That means we need transaction source, which is imported source. The transaction source type should be imported. So here take transaction source as imported. We need one transaction source as imported. We can use which Oracle is providing, or else we can create our own. So these are the setups we have to complete so that we can follow the standard process. The process remains same. So we download the template, we prepare with the data, we create the data files, and the data files data we populate in the interface tables. From there, we import into base tables. Finally, you can review the records. Finally, we can review the record. The same process we have to follow. Same process. Placing file in UCM. Yes, if you want to place, you can place, or else you can bypass. First, we'll go and configure auto accounting rules for all account types for our business unit. Search for auto accounting rules. So select our business unit. First, we'll review. Financial services. For a few accounts, we have auto accounting rules. We need to create rules for remaining account types. So click on plus icon. Select our business unit. Now you can just verify. So auto invoice clearing, already we have rule defined through rapid implementation process, and bills receivable use setup. Select company, select department, select relevant account, or else you can use any random account, no issues. We are just testing. For reality, we'll get all the accounts from the client. The same will load through rapid implementation file. Then we can use the same accounts as required wherever we need that configuration. Now we are testing. You can use any random account, system will support. You no need to go and search. So I create another. So deferred tax is another account. Just set all constant. You can search and select, or else you can pick any one of the random account. So I create another. The next one is factored bills receivable. Create another. So freight already we have an account configuration. Receivables also we have. Yes, for this account we don't have any configuration. Select, complete. So search and select relevant account if available as per the sample data, or else you can proceed with any one of the account. Create another. Yes, revenue, we have a configuration already available. Tax we have. Unbilled receivables, unearned revenue. Yes, we configured for the purpose of revenue recognition. So we have one more account, set combination. Even for one account, auto accounting rule is missing. System will throw error message when you load the transactions data. So make sure you configured auto accounting rule for all account types, even not required. It's mandatory, you have to complete that setup. When we load the transactions may not require all these accounts, but Oracle set validation. First of all account rules should be available. Say done. Save and close. So we completed auto accounting rule configuration for all account types. Now we'll create line transaction descriptive flex field. Here search for receivables descriptive flex fields. Here is the task. Manage receivables descriptive flex fields. So which descriptive flex field we are going to use? Line transaction, because we need to map the line within the transaction. So line transaction DFF we are going to use. So search for line transaction descriptive flex field. So here we have line transaction descriptive flex field. It is similar to our accounting flex field. Accounting flex field is a key flex field. So this is descriptive flex field. If required, we can use, or else we can ignore it. But key flex fields mostly mandatory to capture the key data. Now click on edit. Click on edit. Now click on manage contexts. Click on manage context. And here we have to create line transactions descriptive flex field structure. By using accounting key flex field, we created chart of account structure. The same way, we need to create descriptive flex field structure. Within that, we can create one segment. One segment is enough for mapping the lines and distributions what we are going to have within the transaction. To create the mapping, one field is required. That field we are going to create by using line transaction descriptive flex field structure by creating one segment within that. So I'll just repeat the navigation. The task name is manage receivables descriptive flex fields. Search for line transaction. That is a descriptive flex field name. And once you find the record, click on edit. click on manage context, click on plus icon to create the structure. I'm giving structure display name as ERP tree auto invoice and save it. So capture this structure name. This we required in the template. So within this structure, create one segment. One segment is enough, which can establish mapping within the transaction between the header and lines, or you can say lines and distribution. Click on plus icon. We are creating the segment. So in AP template, we have one column as invoice ID. Similar to that, here you can create transaction ID. Okay, transaction ID. And create value set for the same. Select module as receivables. Select validation type as independent, value data type character, subtype text, maximum length. The maximum length, say 10 characters I'm giving. That means transaction ID for mapping, I'm going to have a 10 digits. So save it. If you want to maintain the values, you can maintain the values within this value set, but not required. Here, dynamic value you can provide in the template for mapping. Say save and close. So we created value set. Here select data type as a character. The table column you can select attribute 1. Here the same value set. Done. Now save and close. Again, click on save and close. One more time, click on save and close. And one more time. Now we are at line transaction descriptive flex field record. Now this line transaction descriptive flex field status is edited. Submit for deployment. So when we create the chart of account structure, or when we do any changes to the structure, we need to submit for a deployment. The same is applicable for line transactions descriptive flex field also. Just click on deploy flex field. It won't take much time. Let's wait. So after deployment, we'll just look into the transaction source. We need one transaction source where the type is imported. We create a transaction source by selecting type as manual to create transactions through manual process. Now we are going to import. So when you talk about this process for AR application, If you want to import any data into AR application, we have auto invoice interface. Through this interface only, we can get transactions data into AR. So you have OM, order management. Within this, say you have sales orders. The sales orders data you want to bring into receivables. First, the sales order information will come to auto invoice interface. From there, we import the data into receivables application. So it is not similar to our PO and AP. In case of AP, we can create invoice in AP by matching with the PO or matching with the PO and receipt. But here it is kind of disconnected approach. The sales order data will come to auto invoice interface tables. Our job is, when we are working as a finance consultant, our job would be, if data is available in the auto invoice interface tables, just will import into receivables by submitting one job. But in case of P2P cycle, in payables, we have to match. When you are matching, we have to understand better about that PO and receipt information. But in case of O2C, our job is very much limited. There is no matching process available here. So data will flow to auto invoice interface tables from sales, order related, or it may be from other systems. So we have to import if data is available. That's all. It's a very limited role in this process. Now we'll check the status. So it's deployed. Say okay. Done. Now we need one transaction source where the transaction source type is imported. Let's go to transaction source task. So manage transaction sources. Just click on the same task and select type as imported and search. Here, just let's review before we proceed. So we created transaction sources. The type system defaulted as a manual, the same we accepted. Yes, by using this transaction source, we want to create manual transactions. But if you want to create transactions through import process, the type should be imported. While creating the transaction source, we need to select imported. When you select imported, we have to set many parameters accordingly. This all will come in the play. So this is all customer, bill to customer, ID, value. With value it has to identify, with ID it has to identify. This all will come in the play. So you can use whatever Oracle is providing. You no need to create from the scratch. You can use. Or else if you want to create, you refer whatever Oracle is providing, you can create it. Now select type as imported. Click on search. Remove this name field text. Search. Now there are many transaction sources available where the source type is imported. These all are imported source. Now we need one transaction source to use in this process. You just look for the source name as receivables import. Yeah, here is the one. You can use this. It's Oracle provided transaction source. So receivables import, we can use this. Or else you can open this receivables import and create one more by copying this as it is. So what you can do is go to another tab, then go to create transaction source. You see how this, primarily these are the data points which you have to enable as per Oracle recommendation, which is a proper like validation point. Accordingly you can choose. You just see here, and you set in the new transaction source if you want to create your own transaction source. This is how you can create. Don't create with your knowledge. Only you have to refer and you have to create. Okay, refer this and create new, or else use this. That's all. So now this transaction source we are going to use to import the transactions into receivables application. So within this transaction source, we have a transaction type as invoice. Yes, you can accept this, or else we can update our transaction type. Say save and close. You can accept whatever the default transaction type is available in the imported source. That's fine. If you want to update with our own transaction type, yes, we can do that. So now we are ready with the setups. The next step, we need to download the template and prepare the data and create the files and follow the process to load into the application. So go to Oracle OER, go to receivables application, receivables. Here we have one of the hyperlink for auto invoice import. Click on auto invoice import. You can read about this template, very high level. If you are placing this file in the UCM, this is the account where you have to place. Anyway, we are not placing, not required. So here is the template, and here we can see the job. And during this process, the data can be populated in which interface tables. Here is the information. Now download the template. Just download the template. Open. So just click on enable editing. Go to instructions and CSV generation sheet. Here we don't have any additional tabs which says show extensible attributes, etc. Now go to the first sheet. The first sheet, RA interface line solve. This is one of the interface table name. Directly sheet name they are giving with interface table name only. Within the auto invoice interface, these are the different tables we have. These are the different tables we have within the interface level. Okay, R interface. These are the various tables. R interface line solve. Here is the table. R interface line solve. So RA interface distribution solve. RA interface distribution solve. These are the two primary and mandatory tables. Rest optional. So when you say RA interface lines, RA interface distribution solve, what about transaction header? The table what we have, or the sheet what we have as RA interface line solve, this is for transaction header as well as a line. For transaction header and line, we use the same. The sheet what we are just finding here, this is not only for lines, this is for transaction, header information and the line information. The other sheet for distribution. When you go to actions, there we can see edit distributions. There we can view the distributions. Such kind of accounts information you can provide within the sheet. Yep. So we have a lot of sample data. Remove except one record. Now let's prepare. So here we have to provide the business unit. So better you can copy everything from instance. So navigate to transaction creation page so that we can copy better. To copy the data, we are just going to this page. We are not going to create any transactions. So just copy this BU name and paste here. And we want to import the transactions with which transaction batch source name, nothing but transaction source name. Already we selected one transaction source, that is receivables import. Just close this sheet, not required. Receivables import. And transaction type. Yes, we can keep invoice, or else we can provide whatever we created and mapped. And payment term, it is optional, system can derive. If you want to provide, yes, you can provide. Just to copy certain data, we are entering the data. So this is the payment term we want to include in the template, and transaction date that you can copy and paste. Again, if you look at these columns, you can understand these are not mandatory columns. When we create the transaction within the receivables, we no need to provide any data. We no need to provide any data. Automatically system can derive. The same applicable in case of this process also. If you want to enter, you can enter. Original system built to customer reference. So from which system you are bringing this open transactions data, as per the system, if there is any reference number is available for bill to customer, that you can provide. It's optional field, not required. Remove the sample data. Original system bill to customer address reference. We don't need any reference. Let's go a little right. And again, original system ship to customer account reference, original system ship to customer account address reference, not required. Now we need to provide data for these fields. So bill to customer account number. As per this template, we cannot provide the customer name. To provide the customer name, we don't have any field. For every customer will have a account number and site numbers. The account number and the site number information we can provide in this template. Now bill to customer account number. Now you have to go to customer record so that you can capture those details. So here is the account number, copy, just pasting here to format, take here. So we want to create the transaction with this customer. Okay, bill to customer account number, bill to customer site number. So bill to customer site also, site is here. You just paste here, it will be formatted. Otherwise, we have a hyperlink. Paste here. So this is a customer account. This is a customer site. Yes, we are going to bill to this customer. We are going to have this bill to customer site. Customer and customer site, we are identifying with the numbers. Now, ship to customer account number. Here we given bill to customer account number, and here ship to customer account number. Billing and shipping for same customer, you can copy the same. Copy and paste. And ship to customer site number. It could be bill to or ship to, site is same. So you copy the site number to this field also. That's all. So enter line level information. When you create the transaction, within the transaction, we have to provide the line level description that you can enter. I'm just giving as it's FPDA line. And here there are mandatory fields, currency conversion type. We are not going to deal with a different currency, but still, since fields are available as mandatory, we have to provide. So conversion date, you can take as a today's date. No conversion, same as it is, we are going to take. And currency conversion rate is 1. Whatever you enter, it will remain as it is. The line amount say $25,000. The transaction line quantity 1. So finally, the price will be 25 only. Reality, no conversion. Since the fields are there, we are keeping conversion rate as a 1 only. If you enter 10,000, so 10,000. There is no real conversion applicable. Okay, conversion 1, user 1. That means 1 means there are no other currencies are involved to convert this USD balances into different currency. So how much quantity? Line level, always we enter the quantity and we enter the unit selling price, and that's how system will derive the transaction amount. So 1 quantity, unit price is 25. So the total is 25. In terms of currency, there is no conversion. Okay. Now, so line transaction flex field context. Here we have to provide the line transaction descriptive flex field structure what we created. This is the one we created. Just copy and take into this field. So within this structure, how many segments we have? Only 1 segment. So the first segment we are going to use. If you look at this, you can see line transaction flex field segment 1. Yes, we created only 1 segment. The segment name is transaction ID. So that ID you have to provide here. So ID you are providing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the 5 digits, 10 digits total. And we don't have more than 1 segment. Remove this data. Remove. Remove the sample data, whatever you see, not required. Check all the columns. Done. No sample data. So that's how we have to fill our interface lines all sheet. The reality, we no need to fill. These templates will give to the business. From the business, there will be IT team. They will extract the data from their current system and they'll populate in this template. Our job is we'll create the files, we'll load it. Now go to second sheet, our interface distributions all. Scroll little left. And distribution level, we need minimum two accounts. One is receivable account, other one is revenue account. So except two records, remove all the distributions. So take the BU name, paste here. Here also we need BU, take it. Now first account is receivables account. You select REC, nothing but receivables. And we no need to enter any amount. Keep this percentage as 100. Whatever the amount we have at line level, that amount it will take here. We no need to enter. Now, how system can identify this distribution is belongs to which transaction line? Here, line and transaction both are same here. So based on the transaction ID, so the line transaction descriptive flex field name we have to provide here also. So whatever we given in the line level, the same you have to enter. Now this distribution is belongs to which line? How we can specify? By giving the same number. Here we given this number, same number you have to copy to distribution. That's how the mapping can be established. We have only one segment within the line transaction descriptive flex field. We cannot see the segment name what we entered, but system can understand. Within this descriptive flex field, line transaction descriptive flex field, we have one segment, that is the first segment. In that we are entering the value. So it will use for mapping. Don't expect to see the segment name what we created in the system. That is not possible. Remove. Check all the columns. Here, provide account code combination, enter receivables code combination. Meantime, we'll enter the data. Company say 1000. Department go to review distributions. Okay, department in three digits. Account 13005. Next segment is intercompany. You can take 0000. Next one, project with 5 digits. Next one, source line, again with the 5 digits. Next segment with the 2 digits. Next one, 4 digits. Done. So this is how you can provide accounting combination for respective line. Check other columns. Yeah. Now we have one more line, that is revenue. Okay, already receivables, we have a line. The other line is revenue. So no need to enter amount. Your percentage is 100. It will copy the line level amount, and line transaction descriptive flexible structure name you provide for revenue also, and same number for mapping. So this distribution also belongs to same line. Line level, whatever the number we have, the same number provide, so that system will understand these two distributions are belongs to same line. Remove the data because we don't have many segments in the line transaction descriptive flex field what we created. So enter the details, 20,000. So department with 3 digits, account, revenue account combination 40110. Rest you can repeat the same. 5 digits, 2 digits, 4 digits. Check the columns. So no additional sample data we have. Just check. Any data is required, yes, client will provide that we can load. Now additional sheets, remove this sample data. That is not mandatory. Here, just remove. That. So we created, say we provided one transaction related data within the template. The template name is auto invoice import template. So the data will flow into receivables through auto invoice interface. That is the one reason why we call as auto invoice import template. Other reason is invoice we are going to create automatically. That is another reason, another point why we call as auto invoice. Based on this template, automatically we are going to create invoice in receivables, or you can say the invoice data will come into receivables through auto invoice interface. That is the reason we call it as auto invoice. So invoice we are creating automatically, so the name is auto invoice. Okay, so we just provided data as required, right? Now create CSV file. Click on generate CSV file. Just place this file in the respective folder. Save it. Save OK. So we downloaded FPDA template from OER and we prepared the data in the template. Now we are ready with the CSV files. So populate the data into interface tables. Which interface tables? Auto invoice interface tables. The master job remains same. Load interface file for import. It could be any data file. The job is same. Load interface file for import. So go to ESS job page, tools, scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process. Job name is load interface file for import. Say OK. Here we have to select the relevant job. The job related information you can see within the OER. The name is import auto invoice. Select. If you place the data file within the UCM that we can find here, but we never placed, directly we are going to browse it. Click on upload, say choose file. Within this folder, here is the file. AR auto invoice import. The zip file is available. Select. Say OK. Submit. Say OK. Refresh. Now the data will be populated in these tables. These are the two key tables. R interface lines means transaction header and line information will get populated in this interface table, and in this table the distributions information will be populated. Now we can notice the job status is succeeded. The write from load interface file for import job. Other child jobs, all child jobs also completed. The status as a succeeded. It means now data is available in these tables. To import the data into receivables, again we have to run this job. Earlier we used this job along with the load interface file for import. Now you have to submit this job as a individual job. So click on schedule new processes. So job name is import auto invoice. Right? Job name is import auto invoice. What this job will do? So whatever the data is available within the interface tables, the data it will import into base tables. Say okay. Select RBU. It's a very important parameter. You have to select the right transaction source. As per this template, what are the transaction source we given, the same you have to select. Now our transaction is available in this table with this source name only. So now you have to call that record with the same source name. Select same source. The receivables import. The rest of the parameters are optional. If you want to filter with the customer, yes, you can provide the customer details. Only this customer related, any lines are available in the interface, those only import into receivables application. So submit. Say okay. Refresh. Now, if any record is going to fail, that you can review. For that, we have an option where you can view the data which is available in the interface tables through spreadsheet. The same we discussed in case of payables. When you are loading invoices into payables through open invoice template, if data is struck in the interface, that we can review through ADFDI spreadsheet. The same is applicable for auto invoice related data also. Refresh. So report status is succeeded. Now let's look into the report. Here itself you can understand the lines are imported into receivables or not. So import auto invoice, the execution report. Click on republish. Click on gear icon. So select required format. Open the file. Now, here we can see the details. Interface lines. Interface lines. As per interface lines, one record selected. Selected records are 1. Successfully processed 1. Because we have only one record here. This is one record. Now, as per distributions, we have 2 records. Here you see interface distributions. Interface distributions. Here you can see selected 2, successfully processed 2. We have 2 only, the same processed. That means, so invoice is created within the receivables against this customer. You can see the details, 25,000. If anything rejected, it will display here. So that kind of data we can see from the interface tables through spreadsheet. Okay. So we'll go and review the transaction. So go to billing task. Manage transactions. Select transaction source. And select customer. Now check with this customer if any transaction is imported into receivables with this transaction type you can find. Here is the transaction which got imported. Open this transaction. So if you go to lines, the line level we have line description which we given in the template. So given line level, line description as it's FBDA line. And transaction source receivables import. Within the transaction source, we given our transaction type, the same is reflecting. And we given payment terms, total amount is 25,000. So that's how just you can find out the imported transactions. You can review the imported transactions. So for testing, we loaded only one transaction. As a part of implementation project, there will be bulk volume of the transactions. So our job is not entering into this template. Our job is just loading. So we get the data from the client and we have to create the CSV files need to be loaded into the instance. And during this process, say you populated data in interface tables. If something wrong with that data, yes, there itself you'll get error message. Say for example, you loaded data into interface tables, it went smooth. When we are trying to import into base tables, the records are failed. That means the report what we have seen, it shows selected these many transactions, failed these many transactions. So even you find the reasons within that report itself. So if that is a case, here the rejected lines, rejected distributions you can find. When you find the rejected lines and distributions, here system will display the reasons also. It will display the reasons because of what reason the line or distributions got rejected. Now those issues you can directly correct from interface line level itself. It could be line or distribution. You can go to interface tables. From tables itself, you can fix it. How? So if data is available in interface tables and you are not able to import because there is some issue with those records, Directly you can correct those records at interface table level itself. Go to task list, and here is the task called as manage auto invoice lines. Click on manage auto invoice lines. Now this is a file which will allow us to view the data which is available in the interface tables. So this sheet you can call as ADFDI sheet. So connect to the instance. Skip. Now here you have to select your BU, then the relevant data system will display here. Here is one tab, and just here you can just select your BU name. Double click, it will open the pop-up. So you select your business unit name. After selecting the BU name, go to manage auto invoice lines, then click on search. With this BU, if any lines are available in the interface, it will display with errors also. It will display what is the error with that line. Now for our understanding, we'll check, search for BU called as US business unit, US 1 business unit. Check, search, any records are stuck in the interface with this BU. This is a sample BU which Oracle provides only in the test instances. So always with this BU, you will find many records with errors. Just wait for a moment. It means there are n number of records which are lying in the interface with some issues. See, these all has issues. Error message, all enabled segments, all enabled segments of the transaction flex field must have a value. Different issues. Enter a rule end date. The accounting date is in closure period. Right? Various reasons. These all lines got struck within the interface. So these transactions belongs to this BU. All got stuck in the interface with the various reasons. So certain columns available here, you can just do the correction wherever it is possible, and once you correct the data here itself which is possible, then you can click on upload, so that the line will system will attempt to import into application. So from here itself you can do the corrections and you can load. Say for example, if you look into this, say take example, this transaction we are not able to import into receivables because the accounting date is in the closed period. You see here, select here and see here. The accounting date is in closed period. Now what we can do, go to receivables, open that period for this BU. When you say BU, ledger level. Then come back to this sheet. Then you can click on upload, or else here you might have selected wrong period. You can correct if the relevant column is available in this sheet itself. So that's how you can submit, and system will just try to push the data into base tables based on updates what we do. So here you can see all the errors you can correct. After correcting the data here itself, click on upload, directly submit. Upload means if you click on upload, the changes what you do in this sheet, those will be updated into interface tables only. If you want to import into receivables, directly click on submit. If you want to update in interface tables, click on upload. If you want to import into receivables, click on submit. That's how it is. Okay. So upload is not required. Always you can say submit, so that the records will be imported as applicable. So this is how we can use the sheet to access the data which is struck in the interface tables. You can take the action from there itself. You can submit the action called as importing into receivables. So that's all about how to import open transactions into receivables as a part of data migration, or you can call as data conversion activity. In tomorrow's session, we can close the remaining items from receivables. We'll see how to create the automatic receipts, the reconciliation, creating accounting entries and transferring to GL, and receivables period close process. So that's all for today. If you have any questions, please unmute and ask. No questions. Okay, we'll catch up tomorrow same time. Thank you all.